I wanted to ask you about this. Now, it was fascinating to me to find this out that the Hasidic Jews don't really go along, or you tell me, is it ubiquitous with the Hasidic Jews that they don't go along with but there's a great swath of them. In fact, here
and the Torah Carta, they are characters. Remember, Jimmy Dore, I go back a long ways, back further than I care to acknowledge. In the 1970s, you would see these demonstrations with members of the PLO waving the Palestinian flag, and sitting on their shoulders would be the fellows from the Neturei Karta. And it was almost a scene out of a carnival to see these folks walking down the streets. I don't know them much. I'm not religious, but I see them at all these events. They seem like decent enough people, but no, most Orthodox Jews are just horribly racist, and not just against Arabs, they hate black people, because there are a lot of them in neighborhoods which abut black neighborhoods, like in Crown Heights in New York and elsewhere, in Brooklyn and elsewhere. So they're really racist. In 2010, you could probably find a clip if you look for it. It's easy to find. It's Chuck Schumer, Orthodox Union, Orthodox Union, and it's Chuck Schumer giving a speech in which he calls not for the starvation, but for the economic strangulation of Gaza. Those are the words he used. And he says, that's what we should do. We should, I'm quoting him now, we should strangle Gaza economically. Now remember, Gaza is 1/2 children, 1/2 children, 1 million children. Why do I bring it up? Because he goes before the Orthodox Jewish Union, knowing, because Mr. Schumer is a professional panderer for votes and donors, knowing that to call for the economic strangulation of Gaza will resonate with that constituency. So yes, there is the Neturei Karta, seem like decent people, but in general, if you take the extreme right wing in Israel now, people like Smotrich and Ben-Gvir, they are all extremely Orthodox Jewish. They're Jewish supremacists.
Well, I bring this up
with a vengeance.
I bring it up because I keep running into stuff like this. Hasidic Jews protest against Netanyahu. American Jews don't want Trump to meet with Netanyahu at the White House, and they're protesting. The murderer Netanyahu is a genocidal and anti-Semitic, irreligious, and should not be admitted to America. This is here's so this is that. I mean, you could say, and it says Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israel state do not represent world Jewry. So how that was surprising to me when I stumbled.
It's surprising because you would have to know the history. All the original Zionists were atheists. They didn't believe in religion. Most of them were socialists, communists, people of the left, and they had no truck with religion. And the other side of it was that most of the religious Jews believed that you shouldn't that it was a sin to build a state before the Messiah comes. I'm not going to go into that whole liturgy because I don't even know it. But there was only one tiny component of the original Zionism. It was very small, of the original Zionists who were religious. They were all secular. They had no truck with religion. But that's obviously changed.
Yeah.
That's obviously changed.
So what would you say? Can you guess what percentage of the Hasidic Jews feel the way those people in the protest feel?
Tiniest percent.
Oh, very tiny? Okay.
Yes.
That's unfortunate.
They exist, and they're very vehement in their opinions, but I can't say that they are representative. Right now, you would say that in Israel, judging by the opinion polls, and Israel is probably the most polled place on God's earth, 95% of the population over the last 18 months, 95% of the population believes that Israel is using the right amount of force or too little force in Gaza. About 5% believe Israel is using too much force. The country's it's over the precipice. It's a completely, at this point in time, it's become a completely lunatic state. It's not only that they advocate, 40% advocate that more force should be used. It's not just that. They relish. If you look at the social media, they post on the social media the horrors they're committing in Gaza, and they express their enthusiasm, their euphoria over it. Now, you may want to argue, yes, it's on the social media. Yes, there's quite a lot. Yes. But then you might want to argue, but it's still not representative of Israeli society as a whole. But there is a problem with that argument. The problem is the people are posting these scenes of horror, and they're posting it without any expectation that they're going to be ostracized for it. They expect that what they're posting will be positively received, or at any rate, they're not going to be ostracized or reprimanded for it. The pop singers in Israel, they sing songs with titles like "May Gaza Burn," "May Gaza Burn." It's a society that has it's a society of murderers. It's a society of war criminals across the board. Israel, during the war in Vietnam, obviously the United States committed many atrocities in Vietnam. The whole war was an atrocity. But that being said, there were many individual atrocities. The thing was, in the United States, most of us in the anti-war movement, okay, and the anti-war movement was very big. Most of us, we didn't see ourselves as committing those atrocities. So if you take the best known case, the My Lai massacre, not really by the standard of what the US was doing in Vietnam, My Lai was small change. It was small change, but it became the best publicized case of a massacre in Vietnam. And the person who ended up the scapegoat was a fellow named Lieutenant Calley. Okay? So when we're in the anti-war movement, Lieutenant Calley, he was from the South. He was kind of like what you would call white trash. And so we didn't see him as one of us. We just saw them as something else. Yes, same country, but different species, if you get my point. But that's not true in Israel. Israel, for better or for worse, has a citizen army. Now, as a general principle, that's correct. Every single person should have to put his or her life on the line to preserve the country's independence, freedom, and so forth. So I think citizens' armies are correct. It shouldn't be a class almost always of poor people who have to sacrifice their lives. It should be all of us. So Israel, in principle, I agree, a citizen army. But there's a problem with a citizen army. The problem is the army is representative of everybody. And if you're committing a genocide, you can't claim it's just a handful of bad apples. It's the whole of society. It's you, or it's your brother, or it's your sister, or it's your mother, or it's your father, or it's your grandson, or it's your granddaughter. It's representative of that whole society, what's going on in Gaza. And that's not a happy reflection on that society, because everybody in Gaza is a cog in the machine of genocide.
Come see us on tour. We're going to be in Bakersfield, San Jose, California, Buffalo, New York, Toledo, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Glasgow, Manchester, Belfast, Dublin, Liverpool, Birmingham, and London. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.